Hello you guys, it's Shaina Marie again. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a yoga flow. This flow is centered around tight hips and hamstrings, so we're really going to be stretching out the legs today. But other than that, this is an all-around vinyasa style flow. It does move a little bit quicker and is probably a little bit more intermediate for those of you that may be beginners here. You can still totally do this flow, you just need to skip some things or modify. Other than that, all you need is your mat and a space, and we're going to get started right away. So let's get started seated on your mat. I want you to take your feet out in front of you and just press your feet together. And resisting the urge to pull the feet in, let's take them out a little bit. So those knees are nice and wide, and maybe even scooping out a little flesh out from underneath your sit bones to sit your spine up nice and tall. Take a deep inhale, closing the eyes, filling up the lungs, and exhaling, softening those shoulders down. Just starting to ground into your space here today. Take another deep breath in, fill up, maybe expanding a little bit more, seeing where you can push yourself. And exhaling slowly, let it out, drawing navel to spine, completely exhausting that breath. Keep taking those breaths, just starting to soften yourself into this space. Drawing whatever conscious awareness you have of your surroundings into these four corners today. So just taking the time to focus on you and your body and your mental strength. And just learning to dive into that bridge between body and mind. So really expanding your awareness today to every nook and cranny of your body, and maybe even exploring those little corners of your mind, those ones that maybe you haven't looked at in a while, that maybe need some more attention throughout this time today. Take a few more breaths in. And just keep softening with each exhale, really grounding yourself right here. Trying to be as present as possible today, but not overdoing it, right? Sometimes we focus so much on being present that we forget to even be present. We're just thinking, I need to be present, I need to be present. So just making it natural and soft and doing the best you can here. One more inhale. Inside out, exhale. And on your next breath in, reaching those arms up over the head. Exhaling, folding at your hip creases forward. Maybe grabbing a hold of the feet. Just dragging your spine forward for a moment before you fold into it. Drop your neck, let your head hang. Take a few breaths here, maybe getting a little bit deeper. Slowly lifting yourself back up. Cross the ankles or however you want to get there. Coming to a tabletop pose, hands and knees. You arrive in table, spread your fingertips nice and wide. And take a nice breath in, lift your heart, pulling your shoulder heads back. Exhaling, pressing the ground away to round your spine and tuck the chin. Again, inhale to lift up, pulling those shoulder heads back. Exhaling to round. Inhale up. Exhale round. Keep taking those breaths, filling up the lungs, clenching those shoulder blades back. And then your exhales, exhausting, rounding that spine. We're just warming up the spine today, working out the kinks, If you'd like, for the next few breaths, maybe adding your own creative or unique movements. Maybe you need a little massaging of the wrists or a sway to the hips. Whatever feels good for you today, just rolling with it, not worrying about how it looks or what you should be doing. I say should with quotations because there is no should here today. And slowly coming back through center, tabletop pose. Bring your hands a big step forward, curl your toes under, and lift your hips up and back to a downward facing dog. Spreading those fingertips nice and wide, wrap your triceps back, and feel your shoulders spread apart. Take a nice deep breath here, fill up your lungs, and exhale, sigh it out. On your next breath in, swim your right leg up towards the sky. Exhaling, pull the knee in, step really wide on your mat, and face both toes towards the left side of your mat. Let's rock forward and back for a moment, just trying to find that space between too far forward and too far back. When you found it, when you grounded into the pinky edges of your feet, lengthen your spine forward and slowly fold into it. Folding at those hip creases and then dropping your neck last. Take a few breaths here. Keeping a slight bend to the knees. You don't want to overstretch your hamstrings today because this is our first big fold. And if you'd like to add a little more, swim your arms behind you, clasping the hands, and just draw your knuckles towards the front of the room and drop your neck. Take a few breaths here, really grounding into those feet, just letting yourself hang, get that first nice stretch. And exhaling, release. Crawl your fingertips to the top of the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Taking a deep breath in down dog. Pressing palms into the earth. Rise to your toes, gaze forward. Exhaling, step or hop to the top of your mat. Folding forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift your chest halfway up, lengthen that spine. Exhale, fold forward, let it go. Breathe in, arms swim up over the head. Exhaling, pull hands through heart, grounding at your center here. Deep inhale, look up. Exhaling, fold forward, soften those hip creases. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen that spine. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back to plank pose. Pressing into the earth, rock your chest forward and lower slowly all the way to the ground. Squeeze elbows into your sides, pull shoulder heads back. Breathe in, cobra, lift your chest up. Keep wrapping those triceps back, squeezing elbows in. Exhale, lower, curl toes under, downward facing dog. Deep inhale, pressing the ground away. Rise to your toes, look forward. Exhale, step or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift, halfway, lengthen that spine. Exhale, fold forward, let it go. Inhale, arms up over the head, root down into the feet. Exhaling, drag hands through heart, grounding at your center again. Deep inhale, reach. Exhaling, fold forward, soften those hips. Inhale, lift halfway, find length. Exhale, palms plant. Step back to plank pose. Drag your chest forward and slow lower all the way to the earth. Squeeze elbows into your sides. Inhale, cobra, lift your chest up. Drag your shoulders back, deep inhale. Exhale, lower. Curl toes under, downward facing dog. Deep breath in down dog, press the ground away. Rise to your toes, look forward. Exhaling, step or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen that spine. Exhale, fold in, let it go. Inhale, arms up over the head, find length. This time, exhaling, grab opposite elbows. Stretch up and side bend to your right. Inhale through center, maybe flipping the grip. Exhaling, side bend to the left. Inhale through center, stretch arms up over the head. Exhaling, fold forward, let it go. Inhale, lift halfway, long spine. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back to plank pose. Pressing into the earth, squeeze your belly. This time come forward to your tippy toes and lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, pull heart forward and through up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in down dog. Side out, exhale. Inhale, rise to your toes, look forward. On your exhale, this time hop up and land right back in down dog. Deep inhale here, press the ground away. Exhale, hop, land right back in down dog. You got 2 more. Deep breath in, pressing into the earth. Exhaling, hop up, try to get those hips lifted. Land back in down dog. 1 more inhale, pressing to the earth. Exhale, hop up, land back in down dog. Last time, deep inhale here, look at your wrists. Exhaling, float the feet around the wrists. Inhale, malasana, chest lifts up. Dig your knees into your upper arms and lengthen that spine. Take a breath. Exhale, tiptoe those feet in and fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift your chest halfway and lengthen. Exhale, fold it in, soften the knees. Inhale, arms up over the head, find length. Exhaling, grab opposite elbows, stretch up and side bend to your right. Inhale through center, flipping the grip. Exhaling, side bend to the left. Inhale through center, reach tall. Exhaling, fold forward, soften those hip creases. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, plant your palms. Step back to plank pose. Pressing into the earth, drag that chest forward and lower halfway. Inhale, pull heart forward and through up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, sigh it out. You may want to shorten your dog by a few steps and then breathe in, press the ground away, look in between your thumbs. Exhale, hop up, land back and down dog. You have 3 more on your own. Deep inhale here. Exhale, hop. Try to get those hips lifted. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, hop. And 1 more breath in. Exhaling, hop up. Think a rainbow, not a bulldozer. And deep inhale, press the ground away. Look at your wrists. Exhaling, float the feet around the wrists. Inhale, malasana, chest lifts up. Dig into those heels, long spine. Take a breath. Exhale, tiptoe the feet in and fold forward, let it go. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, bring those feet together. Inhale, Uttanasana, bend your knees, sit back. Spiral those pinkies in, hollow the armpits out. Deep inhale, sit deep into your chair. Exhaling, fold forward, let it go. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, plant your palms. Step back to plank pose. Drag that chest forward, lower halfway down. Inhaling, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in down dog. Stretch your left leg back long. Exhaling, pull the knee in. Step lightly forward. Lower your back knee. Breathe in, fingertips to sky, low lunge. Exhaling, crawl that left foot forward and then straighten the leg. I want you to wrap that hip back. And if you have space for it, pick your toes up, spread them towards your face, and long spine forward. Take a couple breaths here. Exhaling, bend the knee. You can walk your foot back. Let's curl those back toes under. Squeeze your inner thighs nice and tight, and then press into that right foot to lift your back knee up. Inhale, arms up over the head, high lunge. Keep wrapping that left hip back and take a breath in. Exhale, right elbow on top of left. Wind the arms around or opposite shoulders for eagle arms. Press those elbows together, deep inhale. Exhale, fold halfway forward. Squeeze your inner thighs to gracefully drag that back foot forward and up for bound warrior 3. Take a breath here. Exhale, fold forward, standing splits, heel to sky, lengthen. Step right foot back. Inhale, left leg to sky. And if you'd like to try one-legged chaturanga, forward and halfway down. Inhale to up dog, lift that heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep inhale, stretch right leg back long. Exhaling, pull knee to chest, squeeze it tight. Step lightly forward. Lower your back knee. Inhale, fingertips to sky, low lunge. Exhaling, bring those hands down. Walk your right foot forward and then lengthening the legs, stretching it back. You can spread your toes, reaching them towards your face, and then think long spine forward as you fold into it. Exhale, bend the front knee. Walk that foot back. You can curl back toes under, squeeze up the inner thighs to lift your back knee up. Inhale, high lunge, fingertips to sky. Exhaling, left elbow on top of right. Wind the arms around for eagle arms. Keep wrapping that right hip back. Take a breath. Exhale, fold halfway forward. Squeeze your inner thighs to gracefully drag that foot forward and up to warrior 3. Deep breath here. Exhale, fold forward, standing splits, heel to sky, lengthen. Step that left foot back. Inhale, right leg to sky. You know where we're going. Come forward, squeeze those elbows, lower halfway. Inhaling, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in, let it out. Inhale, rise to your toes, look forward. Exhaling, step, float, jump to the top of your mat, however you want to get there. Inhale, lift halfway, find length. Exhale, bend your knees, sit back. Uttanasana, fingertips reach. Hollow those armpits out. Ribs tuck in. Take a breath, sit deeper. Exhale, straighten the legs, fold forward, let it go. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, plant your palms. Step back, plank pose. Come forward to your tippy toes and lower halfway down. Inhaling, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath, left leg stretches back. Exhaling, pull the knee in, squeeze it tight, step lightly forward. Back knee lowers, inhale, low lunge, fingertips to sky. Exhaling, crawl that left foot forward, and then straighten the leg. You know where we're going, wrap that hip back, and then long spine forward as you fold in. Getting a nice deep stretch. Exhale, bend the knee, crawl the foot back, curl your back toes under to lift the back knee up. Inhale, high lunge, fingertips swim over the head. Exhaling, right elbow on top of left or opposite shoulders for eagle arms. Reach those elbows forward, take a breath. Exhale, fold forward. Squeeze the inner thighs to pull your back foot forward and up, warrior 3. Take an inhale. Exhale, fold forward, standing splits, heel to sky. Step right foot back. Plant your palms, inhale, left leg to sky. And your choice, taking that vinyasa. I'll meet you downward facing dog. When you've arrived in down dog, deep breath in, stretch your right leg back. Exhaling, pull the knee in, squeeze it tight. Step lightly forward. Lower your back knee. Breathe in, fingertips to sky, low lunge. Exhale, hands down. Crawl that right foot forward. Straighten the leg, pulling the hip back. Take a deep breath here. Let it out, exhale, folding into it. And slowly bending that knee again. Walk the foot back. Curl back toes under to lift the knee up. Inhale, high lunge, fingertips to sky. Exhaling, left elbow on top of right. Wind the arms around for Garudasana arms. Deep breath here. Exhale, fold halfway. Long spine, dig into it. Pull your back foot forward and up, warrior 3. Stretch that body out. Exhale, fold forward. Let it go, heel to sky, lengthen. Step back, plant your palms. Inhale, right leg to sky. Taking that vinyasa, come forward, lower halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in. Let it out, exhale. Then your next breath in, rise to your tippy toes, gaze forward in between the thumbs. Exhaling, step or float to the top of your. Inhale, lift, halfway lengthen. Exhale, fold it in, releasing all that tension you were carrying still. And inhale, arms up over the head. Pull that left knee in towards your chest as you come up for majorette. Let's squeeze the inner thighs and wrap your left hip back. Take a deep breath here. Exhale, cross the left ankle over right thigh and sit back into your right heel. I want you to spread your toes and reach your heel off to your right side. Think sit bones to the back of your mat as you lurch your heart forward. Keep spreading those toes. Take a few breaths here, just getting that stretch. If you need a little extra, take your right palm and press it into your left heel. Folding forward, maybe fingertips to the ground to find a little balance. Take 2 deep breaths. And as you come up, bringing left peace fingers to left big toe. Pull yourself all the way up to standing, pressing into that right foot. Full standing here, deep breath, lengthen that spine. And kicking your left heel out, let's straighten that leg up. I want you to think long spine and tall chest. Wrap that left hip back and take a breath here. Keep reaching the heel forward. And slowly releasing the bind, seeing if you can keep that foot lifted. Inhale, arms up over the head. Long leg. Exhaling, pendulum your way. All the way down and back to full warrior 3. Take a breath here, reach the heel, spread the toes. Exhaling, right fingertips to earth. We're moving that pelvis off to the left side, facing. And inhale your left arm over the head for half moon. Keep digging the heels, spreading the toes. Take a breath. Exhale, soften your front knee. Step that left foot all the way back. Pivot the foot flat. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 2, fingertips reach. Keep digging into those feet. Squeeze the inner thighs. Take a breath. Exhale, bring right hand inside the thigh. Inhale, left arm over the head. Take a breath here. And you can stay here. If you would like to go a little further, crawl those right fingertips underneath the thigh and maybe take the left hand behind you to bind with the right hand behind the back. Take a breath here. Open the chest up. If you're not there today, don't worry. And exhaling, straighten your front leg. You can release the bind if that feels better. But keep wrapping that right hip back for Trikonasana, triangle pose. Exhale, bend the front knee. Release the bind. Let's plant that left hand down into the earth, pivoting your back foot to the ball of the foot, and inhale, right fingertips to sky. Take a breath here, squeeze the inner thighs. And with all the strength you have in your legs, gracefully pull that right foot back, taking it on top of the left foot. Inhale, side plank, right arm over the head. Keep lifting the hips up, take a breath. And slowly lift your right foot up. Exhaling, if you would like to go further, step that right foot behind you. Inhale, right arm over the head for a wild thing. Take a breath here, keep pressing that left palm into the earth. Exhaling, turning the chest down. Coming to a plank pose and rock forward to your tippy toes, lower halfway down. Inhaling up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in, let it out. Soften that space between your eyebrows. Letting yourself relax into your down dog. And deep breath in, rise to your toes, look forward. Exhale, step or float to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift yourself halfway, lengthen. Exhale, fold it and release. Breathe in, arms up over the head, pulling that right knee with you for majorette. Squeeze the inner thighs and wrap the hip back. Take a breath here. Exhaling, cross right ankle over left. Sit back into your heels for gentleman's pose. Remember, sit bones to the back of the mat, long spine forward, take a breath. And if you need extra, left palm pressing into your right heel. Maybe fingertips to earth. Taking a moment. And as you come back up, peace fingers to right big toe, pulling yourself all the way up to standing, long spine, press into that left foot. And let's kick that right heel out, lengthening the leg and plugging the hip in. Take a breath, spread your toes, slowly releasing the big toe to bring those arms up over the head. It's okay if your leg falls down, that's totally reasonable here. Take a breath, lengthen. Exhale, pendulum all the way down the back to warrior 3. Take a breath, lengthen your body. Exhaling, bring left fingertips to earth, turning your pelvis open to your right for half moon. Inhale, right arm over the head. Take a deep breath here. Exhaling, soften that front knee, taking that right foot all the way down and back, pivoting it flat. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 2, fingertips reach. Deep breath here, keep digging into those feet. Exhaling, left fingertips to earth. Inhale, right arm over the head. Long line of energy from heel to fingertips on that right side. Take a breath. Exhale. If you want to go further, take that left hand underneath the thigh, right hand behind you, and swimming them back for a bind. Open your heart up towards the ceiling. Take a breath. Exhaling, straighten the front leg. Pull that hip back for Trikonasana or triangle pose. Deep breath here. Keep opening the chest up. Exhale, bend the knee. Release the mind. Right palm plants on the earth, coming to the ball of the back foot. Inhale, left fingertips to sky. Take a breath here. Wrap your left hip back. Exhaling, pull that left foot all the way back and plop it on top of that right foot. Inhale, side plank. Take a breath here. Lift your hips up. And if you'd like to go a little further, lift that left foot up, tap the toes behind you, and open your chest up towards the sky for wild thing. Keep pressing strongly into that right palm. Take a breath. Exhale, come back through center. Rocking forward to a plank pose and lower halfway down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in, let it out. Inhale, rise to your toes, gaze forward. Exhale, step, float, jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway, long spine. Exhale, fold it in, release. Breathe in, fingertips over the head, stretch tall. Exhaling, palms pressed, pulling through your center, grounding here. Deep inhale, arms up over the head. Bend your knees, sit back, Uttanasana. I want you to wrap your tailbone underneath you and hug those ribs in. Take a breath, sit deep into your chair. Exhaling, pick your heels up, swim arms along the sides, and then straighten the legs as you dive your nose towards the earth for diver's pose. Take a breath here, keep diving, diving, diving. Think sit bones to the sky. When you can't dive any further, plant your palms shoulder width apart and come down to a tiny squat. Split your knees and hug your upper arms with them. Take a breath here. This may be where you stay today. If you'd like to go a little further, rock your weight forward. Keep squeezing those upper arms. Rocking, rocking, rocking. Maybe toes stay down. Maybe you pick one foot up. Maybe two for Bakasana. Take a breath here, gaze forward. Exhale, step, float, jump, whatever you gotta do. Back to plank or chaturanga. Inhaling, up dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Breathe in, let it out. Drawing that awareness right back here to the space. Finishing nice and strong today. Deep inhale, stretch your left heel back long. Exhaling, pull the knee to your left upper arm, squeeze it tight. And we're just gonna slide that knee towards your left wrist. And then exhale, pull it back up. Deep inhale, slide it down. Exhale, let's do that 3 more times. Inhale, exhale, inhale, you got it. Exhale, last time. And as you pull up, lightly step that left foot around the left hand, and then crawl your chest forward. Take a breath here, squeeze your inner thighs, and then drop that right knee down. You can turn to the pinky edge of the left foot and open the hip, maybe crawling forward, lowering to your forearms. We'll only be here for a few breaths. For lizard lunge, just opening that hip crease up. On your next exhale, crawl your fingertips back to plant the palms, curl back toes under, lifting the knee up, and inhale left leg to sky. Exhaling, pull the knee into your chest, step lightly forward. Inhale, high lunge, fingertips to sky. Scissor up those inner thighs, take a deep breath here. Exhaling, bring fingertips to earth. Straighten your front leg, wrap the hip back, and then if you'd like to go a little further, pick your front toes up, stretch them towards your face. Pyramid pose, take a breath. Exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, fingertips over the head, high lunge. Exhaling, clasp hands behind the back. Drag your knuckles down, open your heart up. Deep breath here, keep digging into that ball of foot. Exhaling, fold halfway forward. Squeeze the inner thighs to gracefully, keyword, drag that back foot forward and up for a bound warrior 3. Try to find balance here as you turn that right thigh down towards the earth. Exhaling, release the bind. Standing splits, heel grows long, lengthen. Hop your left foot back and plant your palms on the earth. Spread fingertips nice and wide and rotate those inner elbows forward. I want you to lift your left heel up, squeeze your inner thighs. This may be where you stay today. If you'd like to go exploring a little bit, take a few tiny hops. As you hop, drive that left knee into your chest, maybe finding a little balance here. Take a breath, or 3 tries maybe. And when you're ready, step back to plank pose. Washing it away, come forward, lower halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, use that core, downward facing dog. Breathe in, let it out. Inhale, rise to your toes, gaze forward. Exhale, step, float, jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway, find length. Exhale, fold it in, release. Breathe in, fingertips to sky, reach tall. Exhaling, drag hands through heart, grounding at your center once again. Deep inhale, fingertips reach. Bend your knees, sit back, Uttanasana. I want you to light up your inner thighs, squeezing them together. Keep wrapping that tailbone back. Take a breath. Exhale, pick the heels up. Swim arms along the sides and start diving your nose towards the earth. Keep straightening those legs as you dive further, further, further. When you can't dive anymore, come down to a tiny squat. Split the knees and hug those upper arms. You know where we're going, you know your options. Take a breath here. Maybe you start rocking forward, picking 1 foot up, maybe 2 for Bakasana. Take an inhale. Exhale, step, float, jump, whatever you gotta do, back to plank or chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in, let it out. Inhale, right leg swims back. Exhale, pull knee to right upper arm squeeze. Take a breath here. And slowly slide that knee down. Exhale, pull it up. You got 4 more. Inhale. 3 more. You got it. Last one. And then step that right foot around the right hand. Crawl your chest forward, long spine here. Take a breath. Drop left knee to earth. You can open that right hip up. And then maybe crawl your way towards the earth. Whatever feels okay for you. Don't overdo it. Don't overstretch today. This is your own creative experience. I can give you all the cues, but it's your choice whether or not you use them. Slowly crawl those hands back, planting them on the earth. Curl back toes under. Inhale, right leg to sky, 1-legged dog. Exhaling, pull knee to chest. Step lightly forward. Dig into that back foot. Breathe in, high lunge, fingertips to sky. Keep scissoring up those inner thighs as you wrap your right hip back. Take a breath here. Exhale, hands behind the back. Clasp and open that heart up. Exhale, fold halfway. Squeeze your inner thighs to drag your back foot forward and up to warrior three. Take a breath here, long body. Exhale, fold forward, standing splits, heel to sky, lengthen. You know where we're headed here. Plant those palms, hop the right foot back, and take a deep breath here for a moment. Just try to calm yourself down. Spread the fingertips, palming the ground like a basketball, and then lift that right heel up. Take a breath, gaze in between your thumbs. Exhaling, take a few tiny hops, driving that right knee in towards your chest, maybe finding a little hang time, maybe a handstand. Wherever you are, take some deep breaths. And exhale, step, float, jump, back to plank or chaturanga. I'll meet you downward facing dog. Breathe in, let it out. Your next breath in, rise to your tippy toes, gaze forward. Exhaling, step, float, jump to the top of your mat. Maybe even get a handstand in, right? Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen that spine. Exhaling, bend your knees, sit back, Uttanasana, fingertips reach. Our favorite poses of today. This time, dig that right heel down, ground it nice and tight, and then lift that left knee up without straightening your right leg. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. You may just stay here and tap the toes to the ground. If you'd like to go a little further, wrap that left foot behind your right shin or your right calf, and inhale, chest up, sit deep. On your exhale, right elbow on top of left, wind the arms around for eagle arms. Press your elbows together, reach forward, and spread your shoulder blades apart. Take a deep inhale, gaze forward, and sit deeper. Full eagle pose. Take a breath here. Exhale, unwind. Inhale, left knee up. Exhaling, stamping the foot down. Inhale, Uttanasana. Bend your knees, sit back. And slowly pull that right knee back up. Cross right leg over left. Again, you know your options. Maybe that foot wraps all the way behind you. Inhale, arms back up. Exhaling, left elbow on top of right. Wind the arms around. And take a breath here. Press those elbows forward. Feel your shoulder blades pull apart. Deep inhale, sit deeper. Exhaling, unwind. Pull that right knee up. And stamping the foot down. Bend your knees, sit back, Uttanasana. Deep breath here. Exhale, straighten your legs. Fold forward, let it go. Inhale, lift halfway, find length. Exhale, plant your palms. Step back to plank pose. Drag that chest forward and lower halfway down. Inhaling up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in. Let it out. Inhale, swim that left leg back long. Exhaling, bend the knee, open the hip, gaze under that left arm. You can stay here. Maybe you even drop to a forearm and just explore that hip. Adventuring, maybe just wiggling it around, working out the kinks. And slowly bringing yourself back and through to one-legged dog. Stretch the heel out. Exhaling, step nice and wide on your mat. Pivot your back heel flat. Breathe in, arms forward and up. Your Virasana 1. Deep inhale here. Exhale, straighten your front leg. Pull the hip back and fold forward into it. Keep dragging that left hip back. Fingertips can come to earth as you stretch your spine forward. Take a breath here. Exhale, soften that front knee. Squeeze the inner thighs to drag your back foot forward and up to warrior 3. Hands can come to heart or forward, your choice today. Take a breath in. On your exhale, start to wiggle your right fingertips towards the earth. Right. And inhale, your left fingertips over the head for evolved half moon. Keep spreading your toes and reaching them back. Take a breath here. Exhale, turn down. Pull that right knee in towards your chest as you come all the way up to standing. Majorette, fingertips over the head. Deep breath here. Exhale, bring left hand to outside of right foot. This might be where you stay today, or maybe you grab a hold of the knee. It's your choice. So find your variation today, but lift that chest up nice and high. And if you have space for it, kick your right heel out. Wrap the hip back. And then slowly, maybe those right fingertips extend back, lifting the spine up tall, and taking a breath. A little twist. Exhaling, slowly coming back through center. Release the foot. Inhale, arms up over the head. Exhaling, all the way down and back to standing splits, heel grows long, lengthen. Your choice, maybe taking a handstand, maybe just stepping back. I'll meet you in downward facing dog. When you've arrived in down dog, breathe in. Let it out. Inhale, right leg swims back. Exhaling, bend the knee, open the hip. You could stay here again, or maybe drop a forearm. Maybe wiggle the hip around. Don't slip like me. Take a few breaths here, just working out those kinks. And slowly come back through center. Turning the thigh bone down, legs stretching out. Exhaling, step wide on your mat. Pivot your back heel flat. Breathe in. Virabhadrasana 1, fingertips reach. Exhaling, bringing palms to earth. Straighten the front leg as you drag the hip back. Long spine forward, taking a few breaths. Keep energetically pulling that right foot back to get a nice stretch in. Exhaling, bend the front knee. Squeeze inner thighs to drag the foot forward and up to warrior 3. Take a breath here. Keep turning the left thigh bone down. And exhaling, swim left fingertips to earth. Inhale, right hand to sky, revolt half moon. Deep breath here. Exhale, turn the chest down. And slowly start to pull that knee in towards your chest. Coming all the way up to standing. Majorette, fingertips over the head. You know where you're going, you know your options. Either knee or outside of left foot with your right hand. Take a breath here, lift your spine tall. And slowly kick that left heel out if you're going full extension. Wrap the hip down and back. And inhale those left fingertips back. Maybe even gazing off of them for a full big twist. And slowly, intentionally coming back through center. Keep kicking that heel out. Inhale, arms up over the head. Exhaling, pendulum all the way down and back to standing splits, leg grows long. Your choice, handstand or whatever you choose to get back to downward facing dog. Making this your own creative space today. You've arrived in down dog, breathe in, let it out. And slowly rock yourself forward all the way to a plank position. And slow lower like molasses all the way to the earth. Bring arms along your sides. You can turn to one cheek. And just feel your belly pressing into the earth. Calming down, winding down. And on your next breath in, take a bend to both knees. Stretching your hands back, trying to bind with foot or ankle. If you can only get one foot at a time today, that's totally reasonable. Just switch off. But if you have both feet, let's grab a hold of them and then walk your quads back or walk those thighs back. Take a breath here, look forward. Squeeze your inner thighs, press tops of feet into hands or ankles into hands as you lift your chest up. Squeeze your shoulders back and think toes to the sky. You might not feel like you're going very far, that's okay. This is a big stretch, big back bend. Take a couple breaths here, keep dragging the shoulders back. And exhale, release. Release the feet. And maybe turn to the other cheek. Take a moment of breath. And slowly take your arms and bring them to a nice cactus shape out to your sides. Start to tent your left fingertips. So you can extend that left arm out, tenting the fingertips. And slowly just rock onto your right arm. You may stay here. This might feel really intense already. If you'd like to go a little further, pick your left toes up and tap them behind you. This should be felt in the armpit area. This is a really intense shoulder opener.
Going to be here for a few breaths, so just try to adjust, feel whatever you need to feel. Softening that right shoulder for 2 more deep inhales. Slowly coming back through center. Bring left arm out, tenting those right fingertips. And just switching sides, leaning onto that left shoulder. Again, if you'd like to go further, bring those right toes up, tap them behind you. Digging into that left shoulder. Really getting a stretch out of it. Slowly coming back through center. Planting hands on the earth. Curl your toes under. Just press yourself back up to downward facing dog. Breathe in. Let it out. Inhaling, stretch your left leg back long. Exhale, pull the knee in. Bring ankle towards your right wrist and just lay that shin down on the earth. For a moment, bring fingertips to earth and just prop that chest up, walking your right foot back. Take a strong breath here, keep lifting your chest. And exhale, lengthening your heart forward, fold over your hip creases, forward for Pigeon Pose. We'll be here for a few breaths, so falling into it, let gravity pull you down. Try to soften your facial features, just allow yourself to ground here. Oftentimes throughout class, we lose a little bit of our present space, getting impatient or anxious throughout the postures. Maybe dive into those feelings today, and instead of letting them control your actions, just feel where they may be coming from. What is it that is not allowing you to just be here? And slowly start to bring your chest back up. You can stay right here if you'd like a little complimentary quad stretch. Bend your back knee, reach your right arm back. Take a little bind with the foot, pulling it in towards your butt. Keep that spine nice and lifted. Exhale, release. Plant your palms, step back to downward facing dog. Cycle the legs for a moment. Inhaling, stretch your right leg back long. Exhale, pull knee in, ankle towards left wrist, lay the shin down, and just walk that left heel back. Take a breath here, lift your chest up, and slowly come forward, lower all the way down towards the earth. Take a couple more breaths here, surrendering to the posture. And slowly bringing your chest back up. Again, you can stay here, maybe a little quad stretch, bending your back knee, reach your left arm back. Pull that heel in towards your butt. Take a few breaths here. Exhaling, release the foot. Plant your palms. Step back to downward facing dog. Deep breath in down dog. Press the ground away. Rise to your toes. Look forward. Exhale, come through all the way to your seats. Last couple stretches here. Let's take those feet nice and wide. I'm going to turn towards you. Scoop your flesh out from underneath your sit bones and stand your spine up nice and tall. Take a deep inhale, lengthen your spine up. On your exhale, fold over your hip creases forward. Dragging your chest forward and then dropping your neck towards the earth. Try to soften those inner thighs. Breathing into your hips. Maybe going a little lower with each exhale. A few more breaths here, deepening into it. And slowly bring your chest back up. Let's take both feet forward, long legs. Take a breath in. On your exhale, fold over your hip creases. You can grab a hold of the feet, maybe just a light tug, not yanking. And drop your neck. Take 3 more deep breaths and softening a little more with each exhale. Slowly pulling yourself back up. Squeeze your belly and lower slowly all the way to the earth. Bring your arms along your sides. And take one last deep breath in through the nose. Sigh out, exhale. Relax your feet, your legs, your chest, your face. Enjoy your Shavasana just for a minute. And slowly bringing some life to your hands, to your feet, wiggling the toes. And slowly pulling knees into your chest, giving yourself one last warm squeeze. Thank your body, thank everything it did today. Just rock off to whichever side, using your arm as a pillow, softening here. And slowly bringing yourself back up, coming all the way to meet me in a seat. Bringing your palms together, thumbs plugging at your sternum, reminding yourself your center, your space, and all that you hold within you. Take one last breath in. Sigh it out, let everything go. Thank you for sharing this practice with me, working so hard today. Namaste. So that's it. That's our practice for today. Thank you for joining me. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions or suggestions or requests for our next flow. Other than that, I would love to see you back, so please like and subscribe. Otherwise, stay tuned, and I'll see you for the next video.